Motion capture is really an incredible technology. It's given us some truly terrific acting performances that have enabled some games to really stand out. BioShock Infinite, The Last of Us, and LA Noire are just a few of the games that have been made amazing thanks to the incredibly detailed facial performances given through mocap. But lately, there's actually been signs that motion capture technology is about to go up to a whole new level.
A cryptic tweet from video game legend Hideo Kojima's Japanese Twitter feed recently showed off a detailed mannequin head covered in a huge number of stickers. Users quickly figured out this was to be used for facial recognition and motion capture, and each sticker is meant to track a specific part of the actor's face. Kojima followed this up with a tweet showing off the new Kojima Productions motion capture studio, which featured dozens of cameras dedicated to mocap. We can reasonably assume that this is the technology Kojima and co will be using in the upcoming video game Death Stranding.
Now, Kojima also released some behind-the-scenes production footage showing how he captured the performance of his one true love, Mads Mikkelsen, to create that awesome trailer for Death Stranding. The footage shows Mads wearing a rig over his face which captured every little detail and facial movement. The footage then transitions into the game trailer where every expression had been perfectly recreated.
What is Death Stranding?
Yeah, it's a bloody good question, that, because we don't know. And Hideo Kojima himself probably is still working out what it's going to be and how it's going to play out.
I don't know, I'm pretty sure he's got a good idea of what it is. He's just keeping his cards very close to his chest.
And whenever he's been talking about it, he's been very abstract. The language he uses is just ridiculous. But because he's made so many great games, unlike Hello Games, when he is vague, you believe that, exactly like you said, he's keeping his cards close to his chest, and he's still mapping things out in some way. Where because he's got that back catalogue of amazing games. Whereas Hello Games, we didn't know who these guys were pretty much, and they were just promising everything to us. So that's the difference here. That's when Hideo Kojima has earned the right to be vague with Death Stranding.
True enough.
So will it actually be? Is it going to look as good as it looks in the trailer? And is this motion capture technology?
Yeah, Mads Mikkelsen looks pretty handsome in the game. I mean, I'm not sure if he's quite as handsome as in real life, but Hideo needs to translate that. That's his job, isn't it?
Yeah.
To translate the.
It's all about the handsomeness. Nothing about the acting ability.
And the pictures of smoking, like black and white pictures, smoking on a barge somewhere. Kojima Productions is not the first company to experiment with high-end motion capture. Ninja Theory, the guys behind Devil May Cry and Enslaved, are well known for their quality mocap performances. They got Andy Serkis, the king of mocap acting, known for his role as basically every CGI film character in the last 20 years, to play the lead in Enslaved. That should tell you something about where they're at in terms of their ambition as a video game studio. Their newest game, Hellblade, is the latest to show off some next-level mocap technology. During a keynote speech at the Game Developers Conference in March 2016, Ninja Theory showed off their newest real-time performance capture technology, and it looks incredible. The presentation demonstrated how they are able to animate and render the actress's performance in real time and on the fly. Every little smirk, eye twitch, and lip movement is captured and rendered 100% accurately in the game engine. An array of cameras are then used to capture body movements, which again translate accurately in-game. It all sounds fairly similar to the setup used by Kojima Productions on Death Stranding, but this one actually looks a bit more advanced.
It's fair to ask at this point, is motion capture really making any discernible difference to the game? Can it make any difference to the actual gameplay? And the answer is, oh god, yes it can. LA Noire was a game that was built around the incredibly detailed facial animation of its many diverse and interesting characters. Playing as a detective, you had to use the actors' facial expressions and detect the slightest of tells in their behaviour to figure out whether or not they were lying, bluffing, or telling the truth, which as a concept is flipping incredible. However, LA Noire came out in 2011 and the game's pioneering potential was limited by the power of the PS3 and Xbox 360, which were already aging even back then. Imagine an LA Noire style game now with this new motion capture technology and the power of current generation PCs and consoles.
Well, let's talk of mocap. It really gets me excited. I love games where it shows you people's faces and you can see the way the actors have portrayed these characters and all the little micro expressions. That's what I want, Mike. Yeah. I want micro expressions.
You're quite a fan of that David Cage kind of thing as well, aren't you? That kind of
Until Dawn was amazing. Like that type of game where you can get involved with the characters on a personal level almost because their performances are so realistic.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, isn't it? For me though, it's kind of just purely about the immersion and things. Currently playing Horizon Zero Dawn, and you know the characters character models and stuff look great on that, but sometimes the lip syncing and stuff just is a bit off, like on some of the characters, it's a bit inconsistent. And that, you know, for a split second just takes you out of the experience because you just suddenly looking at this character thinking, oh, that looks quite bad. And
it's like a puppet, like someone's got a hand up his backside.
Yeah,
like,
and I mean, sometimes there's so much detail, and you know, the whole world, the whole game is absolutely gorgeous. So when something like that happens, it really does stand out. That's what I'm excited about, is how it's going to just become this standard that most games, if you've got rubbery, stupid-faced characters, then you've got a bad game on your hands, kind of thing. I'm just excited to see how this forces all games to live up to this standard. That's what I'm hoping for.
And also, there's loads of like proper big actors and actresses getting involved in gaming these days. You think of Ellen Page with the Beyond Two Souls.
Yeah. Andy Serkis, as you mentioned earlier.
Andy Serkis. There's you think about Gary Oldman.
Yes, exactly.
In Star Citizen, and there's Mark Hamill in Star Citizen 2.
Yes,
can't wait to see how that turns out. It looks pretty awesome.
I mean, so they're big names, aren't they? So obviously, when the technology does advance, they will attract more people who believe that the technology is there now to capture their performances. If they're like top, you know, kind of A-list actors and whatever, they don't want to be working on projects where maybe their time is a bit wasted because, you know, they're worried about giving a stiff performance, or, you know, like Peter Dinklage in Destiny, where he was kind of hung out to dry really because of his voice performance and stuff. I doubt he had the kind of direction and stuff that they wanted, because he sounds like he was just reading, you know, he just sounds like, you know, a pair of knobheads on YouTube just reading the script. Like, he didn't sound like a good performance. And he's Peter Dinklage. He's a really good actor. He's like one of the best actors in Game of Thrones. So when the technology's there, big actors like that hopefully will be more encouraged to come into gaming.
And the money. I mean,
the money as
you know, I can't say Gary Oldman's there for anything short of a few thousand.
We should mention also the point about VR technology. I mean, the way that this could integrate with VR gaming. I mean, Resident Evil 7 kind of touted at the moment as being the best VR experience you can kind of get at the moment, because it's a full game, it's a proper game, and you can do it all in VR. But the character models and stuff in Resident Evil, outside of Jack, I mean, I guess like Marguerite, like what that. They spent about half an hour on her face and like, yeah, good enough. So, and it probably, you know, it kind of stands out a little bit more in VR. So when this kind of technology improves, it'll improve the VR experience so much more as well.
The whole point of video games is that they are meant to be escapist fantasies where you can leave the real world for hours at a time. Realistic performances will improve that experience in a huge way, because if the performance is more believable, then the easier and deeper you become immersed. Look at games like The Last of Us and Until Dawn. Both of these games were lauded by critics for the actors' performances, which made the narrative much more engaging. In the case of Until Dawn, the whole experience was meant to convey the feeling of an interactive horror movie, and if the game's character animations were too stiff or robotic with wonky facial capture, then it would have been panned. Instead, it really succeeded and executed almost perfectly the vision that David Cage has been trying to achieve with his games for years.
It's exciting to imagine where motion capture tech could take gaming in the future. A future where video game actors can give performances that are on par with anything you'd see on your favourite TV shows or even in a movie. And if the likes of Kojima Productions and Ninja Theory succeed with their ambitious motion capture projects, that future might be closer than we think. So do you guys care about motion capture technology? Do you hate it when you see awkward, rubbery characters in your games? Let us know down in the comments how you feel about it. Remember to leave a like and do subscribe if you enjoyed the video. We've got some more content right here for you. We'll see you next time.